What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mizzy Real Talk. This right here is the 10 most unexpected deaths in films. This is a list I compiled. You know, when you watching a movie and something just catches you off guard, it's like, wait, what just happened? Like, the person passes abruptly. You know, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's almost comical, but something that, you know, it just all of a sudden the person passes in the film. And like I say, I know it's a lot of movie deaths, so let me know in the comments some ones that you've seen that you thought were just crazy. Like I say, this is my top 10 that I compiled. And like I say, these are all films I've seen. Of course, I haven't seen everything, so let me know some movies in the comments that maybe I need to go check out. Number 10, I got The Descent. So right here, everybody who's seen The Descent should know the scene I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But early in the movie, you know, they was water rafting. Then, like I said, the mom, the dad, you know, daughter in the car. Dad driving, he kind of, was the dad driving? I can't remember that, huh? But they have a wreck, and then all of a sudden, the poles fly through the car, kills the dad and the daughter. I think the mom was driving because I feel like the dad was on the passenger side and the mom and the daughter was behind him. But like I said, they just passed all abruptly. And you're kind of, it's like maybe 10 minutes into the movie and it's just kind of like, wait, what just happened? But like I said, that's my number 10 right there. Number 9 from Scream. Like I say, one of the original, Drew Barrymore. This right here was, you know, of course we've seen all the Screams over time. What they on number 7 now? But early in the time, people didn't expect Drew Barrymore to pass because she was such a big name that you just assumed that she would, you know, be in the film for an extended amount of time. Even if she passed, you wouldn't have thought it would have been that quick. You thought, okay, maybe later on in the film somewhere. But like I said, we see early in the film, you know, when her parents come back, she's hanging up and stuff. So like I said, that was really abrupt, especially at that time. So like I say, Scream, number 9, Drew Barrymore. Number 8, this right here may be surprising to some people because it's not a main character in this film. But if you ever seen World War Z, the scientist, when he was, they was going to, you know, they flew over, when they get out the plane, when the scientist takes off running and he slips and shoots himself, that's what, it was so abrupt because they were just on the plane talking about how they, you know, need to figure out what's going on with this infection, trying to figure out about the zombies and stuff. And then, like I say, the one guy that was supposed to be the most knowledgeable on this abruptly shoots himself. And now we're like, wait a minute, wasn't this the best guy to figure out the case? So like I say, that was like, what? That was crazy. Like I say, and then he, like I say, shot himself. He wasn't even bit by no zombie or nothing. But number 7, we got Deep Blue. And I think everybody who's seen this can guess. Samuel Jackson in this movie, when he gave that speech and the shark comes out the water and kills him, it was like, wait. He just gave that whole speech and that happened. That was like, whoever the director, and it's funny because it was like, it was surprising, but it also was, like I said, kind of comical, especially when you rewatch it, because you're like, the shark, like I say, like I say, it might have been good at that time, but as the time it passed, the CGI and stuff, the sharks don't look that great. But like I say, it was just crazy because, like I say, Samuel Jackson just gave this whole speech that supposed to motivate everyone and get everybody pumped up, and like I say, he gets off like that. But anyways, number 6, this right here, more recent movie, Endgame. When Iron Man passed, now like I say, I haven't read the comments, so maybe in the comments he was supposed to pass, and you know, everybody knew who read the comments. But me just watching the films, I didn't expect it. Like I say, it was out of nowhere. Even when Tony, you know, got the stones on his hand, I wasn't even thinking about it then. But once you seen him snap his finger when he said Iron Man, and then like I say, you know, Peter comes over there, looks at him, and then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? When the Hulk used the stones, the Hulk almost burnt his whole hand off, and the Hulk, like I say, is super strength. It just showed Tony was just a regular man, like he just a regular guy. But that was one of the saddest deaths, especially in Marvel. Like I can't think of no sadder death in Marvel right now. Yeah, I can't think of one. But that one right there, it was like I say, it got it, especially in the movies, probably anywhere when people watched it. If you watch Iron Man from Iron Man 1 to the whole, like say, Marvel, all the films to right there when he passes, then you know what made it even sadder was his daughter. That really, I say, that hit us right in the right in the emotions right there. But like I said, man, Endgame, number 6, and a great movie as well. Number 5, The Shining, Dick Harrelson. When he comes back and he's trying to save the little boy, man, this was one of the deaths that really upset me, because I thought he was coming back and he was gonna be this heroic and just save everybody. He comes back and gets hit with an axe right in the stomach immediately, and I'm just like, wait, he's dead. And it was like, I'm just like, wait a minute, he passed that quick. He drove all through all this snow, all this, and came here just for this. And I think in the book, I never read The Shining in the book. I think in the book he didn't pass that way. If I remember it correctly, I think Stephen King, that's why he did the TV short series, because he didn't like in the movie, some of the stuff that was going on in the movie. And like I say, I like the movie. You go back into my the list I just did by my 30 favorite movies, and I had The Shining in there, I think. So like I said, but that was just one that just threw me off, that I was just like, wait, what? It was just crazy. But number 4, we got Pulp Fiction, Vincent. So this right here, especially the way Quentin Tarantino directed this film, with it all the pieces not being chronological, it was weird, because when Bruce Willis comes back to his home, Vincent is in the bathroom again, and he leaves his gun on the counter. Bruce grabs the gun. He hears him flush the toilet. He like, and then unloads on him and kills him. And like I say, out of nowhere. And it's funny because all of a sudden he's still in the film, because like I said, it's not in chronological order, but he's already killed. And like I said, it was out of nowhere, because like I said, Vincent, you just didn't expect it. Cause you wait a minute, he left his gun on the counter. First of all, why you left your gun on the counter? Just to use the bathroom. And it was funny how many times he had to use the bathroom in the film. That was one of the deaths that was like kind of funny to me, like I say, in my opinion. But number 3, we got The Sixth Sense. Of course, Dr. Malcolm, with the it's probably hard for people to watch this film now and be surprised, even if you haven't seen this film, just because there's been so much talk about it. But when it, early in the years when it first came out, when you seen it, and you don't realize that he's passed, and he all of a sudden they go all the way back, and then when he's like, they don't even know they're dead, then you like, oh man, that was one of the best twists ever. And M. Night Shyamalan, he's made a lot of movies that was, well, you know what? He's made movies that a lot of people haven't liked, I haven't liked, but this movie right here would carry him through time, because it was just that good. It was great, all time great. And like I said, it was just one of the best twists and surprising deaths that you ever seen, because Bruce Willis passed. He was passed in the beginning of the movie. We didn't know, because like I said, the movie kept going, so you never even thought back about it, like, what if he died? And especially, you never even realized in the beginning that the movie was even supernatural, because you seen he just a therapist, so you're not even comprehended it. Okay, he's like, you know, it's gonna be some supernatural in this movie. Like I say, Sixth Sense, one of the best twists, best just surprising deaths ever, especially at the end. Even to this day, if you watch it, I still get goosebumps, still get chills. It was great. Number 2, Hereditary. Man, if you haven't seen this movie, oh man, when this scene right here, the girl Charlie, when her brother's driving and she's out the window, that was one of the craziest scenes I've ever seen. I was like, because I didn't watch it in the movies, I was watching it at home. I was like, wait, what? I was like, where's the remote? I had to rewind it immediately because it was just out of nowhere. And I'm talking about to take her head clean off. That was crazy. That was crazy. that every time I think of that movie, that's the scene I think about. Like I said, if anybody hasn't seen it, go see it and you'll understand it. It's just shocking and just awing. But number 1, some people probably could have guessed this. 7, What's in the Box. You know, you watch the whole movie, you never get any inkling that this scene is gonna happen. You never think about, you know, Brad Pitt's wife is gonna pass, and then her head is gonna, you know, you just never think this, because like I say, when it gets to the end, and it was so dramatic the way the guys leads them to the spot, Kevin, and then like I say, all of a sudden the guy's delivering the box. Morgan Freeman opens it. Then he's like, John Doe has the upper hand. John Doe, you never saw it coming, and then all of a sudden when it hits you, like, oh, you catch it kind of. Well, me personally, I caught it a little before he announced it, because he was like, before he announced it, he was like, what? He was like, I'm jealous of your life and stuff. It was just like, wait, hold on. His wife head in the box. They didn't even have to show us the wife's head, because like I said, it was just already shocking enough that this the way the movie ended. And I said this plenty of times, and I say it again. It's something about movies that end, they caught the guy kinda because he turned himself in, but movies that don't end like the happy-go-lucky, happy ending. It's something about a movie that it's like, it just feels real, because it's like, this would happen in real life. Maybe not all the other dramatic stuff the guy did, but, in a movie doing stuff that is like I say, everything is not going to end happy. And like I said, just what I took from it. It was like, it ended, and I wish, well, you know what? I'm not going to say they should have made a number 2, because this movie was so good, you might have messed it up making number 2. But in your mind, you always wonder, like, would he have got less of time for killing him? Because it's like, he did, like, murder his wife, so they could understand a crime of passion, right then. The anger took over him. So like I said, you just never know. But like I said, man, that's my top 10 list. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know, guys, what are y'all favorite movie deaths? Like, well, not favorite, but most unexpected movie deaths. Like I say, it's a lot of them. I really could have made a long list. It was a lot of them I thought about. Especially horror movies. Horror movies have a lot of ones that just out of nowhere. But like I said, I wanted to be a little more creative and really think about some ones that I've seen that I don't think people would have just thought of immediately. But guys, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Catch you next time.